just start a recording's in progress. So I'm not sure how far this is going to go because our fellow that takes care of the recordings is on his way to Guatemala. So, all right. So Jen, it's all yours.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me. I want to start off today by a little exercise. You can close your eyes if you're comfortable, but you don't have to. I want you to start by picturing yourself in grade 4. What were you like in grade 4? How well behaved were you in grade 4? What did you know in grade 4? And specifically in grade 4, as it comes to junior achievement, what did you know about managing money? Where did you think money came from? How, what did you know about money, credit cards, any of those things in grade 4? What did you know about starting a business, running a business, being an entrepreneur when you were in grade 4? And what did you know about planning for your career and planning something that fits you, that will also bring you the financial needs, et cetera, when you were in grade 4? So think about those things when you were, riding your bike all over town as I was, heading down to the candy store with whatever money you could find, whatever you might have been doing when you were in grade 4. Next, I want to picture yourself in high school as you're finishing up your high school career. What did you know then compared to what you knew in grade 4 in those areas? What did you know about planning for your future if you were going off to school from there? Budgeting for that appropriately, budgeting for student debt if that was a thing for you, budgeting for going into the workforce and the amount of money you need to make to live where you wanted to live. Still, what did you know about starting a business if that was something you were interested in? What training had you had in that to set you up if you wanted to start a business as soon as you graduated high school or wherever you were leaving? So picture yourself then, what you knew. And then picture what you wish you knew. What would have helped you in those years of school and finishing school to be better prepared to set yourself up for your life ahead? And if you think about those things, that's really what junior achievement is all about, is improving the gap from what you might have known and what you wish you had known and what you wish students of today would know as they are heading off into their futures. Our mission at Junior Achievement is to inspire and prepare young people to succeed in a global economy. And what that means is being really proactive. We're trying to keep youth out of the cycle of poverty. We're trying to help them understand how to start businesses so they bring them back to the community. So they're also helping the community in the long run. They become the employers of the future, the community leaders of the future. We envision a world where young people have the skill set and the mindset to build thriving communities. That's really what we're all about. And we see how well that aligns with everything you do at Rotary and the change you're working to make in the world. At Junior Achievement, we have 3 pillars that we focus on, which I've sort of touched on. One is financial literacy. So really understanding money management, where money comes from, especially in today's age where money is sort of not attached to anything physical and it's an app on your phone as you're checking out of Tim Hortons or whatever it might be. Getting kids to understand what is behind that and the value of a dollar, the value of all those things behind it. Then another pillar we have is work readiness. We have programs that are aimed at getting kids to think more about their careers, more than they do in careers class, and before perhaps they do in careers class, and figuring out careers that are a good fit for the future that you want and the interests that you have. And then finally, as I touched on entrepreneurship, we have numerous programs that really focus on training for entrepreneurship on a very hands-on level. So all our programs are aimed at being interactive. You're in there, you're doing it, you're understanding it in a way that is different from just reading about it in a book or hearing a lecture on it. You're really getting in, mixing in with the work and understanding to move forward. Our work is in grades 4 through 12 in this area. So we do a combination of, we have many programs that are in school that you may not hear about as much, because they're operating within, we operate within the school board. We work very closely with the school board to deliver those programs, school boards. But those are in grades 4 through 12, all the way through. Technical difficulties?
Allison said she's trying to come in. Can't get her.
Oh, okay. Did you go in here?
Yeah, it's just us.
Okay. And then in addition to the in-school, all right, hopefully she'll come in.
Okay, if you see something, just.
Okay. In addition to the in-school programs, we have field trips that we sometimes do. Those would be in non-COVID times. But we have bigger groups that will come in for a program. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And then we also have after-school programs. Some of you may have heard of or even been a part of our company program. That's kind of the flagship program that has been around for many years. Did anyone do it when they were in school? Yeah. So it's basically that really hands-on, you build a business from the ground up with other people from your community, other kids in high school. This is a high school program. And you know, people over the years have made windshield scrapers, you know, ice scrapers, or whatever it might be. They come together, they come up with a business idea, they figure out how they want to market it, how they want to make it, how much to price it for, where to sell it. And in the end, you know, learn a lot from that experience. They actually get to keep some money, that if they turn a profit, they get to keep that profit. But more importantly, they learn amazing skills that will lead them into their future and also look great on a resume. So we highly recommend that company program for high school students. A couple other programs I want to talk about are just to give you an idea. We have much more than this, but just to give a sample of our programs. Starting in grade 4, we have More Than Money, which is that early learning on financial literacy. So we have interactive games that we play with them and really start them thinking about where the money is coming from, starting at grade 4. And then we'll come back in grade 7, we have Dollars with Cents, which is a little more advanced for the grade 7. And then moving into high school, there's Personal Finance, which is really getting them to plan out, now that they're maybe making money or about to make money, getting them to plan out how to save their money, how to deal with credit in the future, how to deal with student loans in the future, all of that once we get into the personal finance in high school. We have Economics for Success, which we usually deliver to grade 8s. And that's a bit of a combination program. It's that work readiness piece where they think about what they might want to do with their lives in grade 8. And they think, they do planning as they're heading into high school, but then also understanding the lifestyle that they think they want and how those may or may not mesh up with the career they think they want to do and the lifestyle. So to get them thinking about how that all plays together. That's that grade 8 program. And then one that I know that Karen has participated in, I don't know if anyone else here has, is our World of Choices. That is a career day basically, but it's a more in-depth career day. It's not like a career fair where you're going booth to booth. Students spend 20 minutes with a mentor at a time. They choose in advance the careers they're most interested in. And when it was in person, we had 20 mentors in a room. We've held it here in Chatham, each at a different table. And students would say in advance, I want to learn more about fashion and engineering and law and car mechanic. And they choose, and then they go and they spend 20 minutes with that mentor learning everything about their day-to-day, how they got there, what they need to pursue that career, et cetera. So it's a program that we love, and a lot of students learn a lot from as they're thinking more about their career in high school. As we all know, in the past few years, we've been dealing with a pivot to how our programs are delivered. So as I mentioned, our programs used to be very much in person, very much in school, all of those things. And as everything, and I should mention, they were also always delivered with the help of volunteers. Volunteers going into the classroom, delivering those programs to a group of students, volunteers at the World Choices events, volunteers helping with the company program, really each assigned to each company, they help to build that company moving forward. So when everything shut down, the fortunate thing for where we were with Junior Achievement at that time was that Junior Achievement of Canada had been planning an online tool to supplement our work. So it was basically starting to put all the programs online so that if a teacher or volunteer wanted to be able to do an online game or an online lesson, in addition to what we were doing in person, that it was there. So the sort of placeholder was there in March of 2020. And once we saw where everything was heading, we as a group of charities, junior achievement charities across the nation, gathered together to finish that work so we could start, even in April of 2020, we started with online delivery. And if I tell you what a big leap that was from where the programming was in March of 2020, it was huge. So we were able to very quickly transition to deliver programs online. It became less of volunteer-led, more of teacher-led, with volunteers now are doing drop-in sessions. So they'll come in, because we know the volunteers are hugely important in delivering that real life experience that they can bring to it. If you have someone from a bank coming in and students can ask a banker those direct questions rather than learning from their teacher or the volunteer that may know a little less, that makes a big difference. So that's how we've been operating. Our World of Choices event, we've had major events where we have our volunteers are all online, and we have breakout rooms instead of breakout to tables. So the students choose the room they want to attend, and they still have that 20 minutes in that session. Our company program for the past 2 years has been all virtual, which has been a struggle for the kids. But it has benefits that came out of it as well. So we used to be very localized. And I should explain, we are now, Junior Achievement Southwestern Ontario is now amalgamated with London and Kitchener-Waterloo. In the past few years since I started, we've actually all amalgamated, but we still work very locally. So, but with the company program, that allowed us to have kids from all these different areas now working together to sort of gain knowledge that they wouldn't have gained. It's not a long-term plan, but in the short term, it worked really well to have online company programs, and they had to innovate in a way they'd never innovated before because everything had to be online. They had to sell online. They never met each other in person. It was all a very, very different experience with its positives and negatives, but a lot that the students learned out of that. So, and yeah, as I said, we operate locally. Our funding from a local organization such as yours goes in directly to local programs. Our volunteers, a little bit different during the pandemic, but mostly will volunteer locally. So everything, as much as I say we're a larger charter now, that just allows us the tools to have more knowledge at our base while we can still and deliver more programs into each community, with an emphasis on making sure we're reaching each community and increasing the numbers of students we can reach every year. But as an organization, Junior Achievement has been around for over 100 years worldwide. And recently, I'll finish off with this. We were recently nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, JA Worldwide was. And I just want to share a little quote about the nomination because I think it really connects well with what you do here. JA has been helping young people since the organization's founding in 1919, but this recognition is about more than just JA's impact on individuals. The effects of JA are felt in communities, countries, and the entire world because the organization has been able to scale up to reach over 10 million young people per year, partnering with more than 400,000 volunteers and teachers who deliver hands-on immersive learning experiences in 115 countries. For centuries, unemployment and poverty have led to political instability, violence, and war. By economically empowering youth on all continents, Junior Achievement serves as a conduit for peace and a global force for good.
Questions for Jen?
Karen.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment. Leaving things out over the COVID period in the house, and I found the product that I made when I was in high school.
Really? What'd you make?
I made a knife rack, a wooden knife rack, and I still have it. I attended junior achievement classes in bodybuilding and water.
Very cool. Very cool.
And then I taught grade 8 JA. I think it was called the Economics of Staying in School.
Okay, yeah. So it's similar, a similar program that we have now, but just modernized a bit probably. Yeah, I will say that the students who've done company programs, so many of them still have their product. They still talk about it. They end up maybe getting a scholarship from it or traveling to national conferences. There's a lot that goes along with that company program. And our goal is just to have more and more students in this community doing these type of programs so they can really be set up themselves and to bring back to Chatham-Kent.
Should do a call, see how many other people.
Yeah.
Andy and then Jen.
You still operate at William and Wellington?
I mean, theoretically, but not for the past few years. So our plan is to, once we're back, we have a couple things I should mention. We have a camp going this summer. It's a business camp called Camp Startup. So we're gonna be cleaning up the building a bit to get ready for that because we haven't been in there in over 2 years, really, other than an occasional stop in. And the other thing I should mention, I know you're already busy with bingo, but we are in need of bingo volunteers. So if you know of anyone that might be interested in that, that would be great. So yes, we are still there sort of, but we've been operating from home since March 2020.
So are they operating individual companies there, like online or?
So the company program students right now are all online. So they're from their homes and they're doing it over Zoom. But when we go back to in person, which we expect we expect coming this year, it'll be a mix. We still want to offer the online programs because we've actually reached students that we weren't able to reach in new ways so we'll still have some virtual programming, but there's also a lot of burnout for that. So we're going to have companies in the building in Chatham, I would assume in the fall, as well as camp in the summer, if we get enough campers. So spread the word.
Chandra. Okay, so that kind of answers the question I was going to say, which is when we bring back programs. So you're hoping this coming fall?
Yes, there is. We have teachers already requesting them, and we just can't facilitate because right now we have our volunteers dropping in from anywhere into any community. We can't reasonably switch it that quickly, but we are ramping up to be able to deliver. Probably the majority of our programs will be in person in the fall, but we want to make sure we still have virtual options. We can reach way more kids. We've had career hunts, which are like World Choices, but for grade 8 for 1,500 students at a time. And you can't do that on a field trip. So we'll do a mix to try to reach as many people as possible in the way that makes sense for them.
Silver lining of the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
The follow-up comment was that I'm along this program. I did a program.
Nice.
Downtown.
Oh, you did?
And I too still have the product. We did coasters for our coasters.
That's amazing. Well, we're always looking for alumni to share their stories. So if you want. Yeah. You too, Karen. Looking at you.
Just squeeze that in on the calendar. Anybody else have a question? Yeah, I don't have a specific example of someone who sort of, there are many examples of people that went on to form major companies. I just don't have that. Not to get political, but Monty McNaughton went to the company program of junior achievement too. So, but basically we've had people that say like, right now is National Volunteer Week. So we've been doing volunteer profiles and it was interesting to read a few of them that said they've had students that they taught in one class in whatever grade that came back to them when they ran into them at Fanshawe to say, you're the reason I chose to pursue this career. Or, just the effects that it has in them, the confidence that they build through these programs, the people that understand that they can now do a business perhaps on the side or instead of what they were originally thinking, and they can really tailor their career planning to what works for them. So, yeah. That's cool. All right. Thank you very much, then, Jen. I appreciate you taking the time today.